if someone had come up to me after the final and tried to console me with, don't worry, Jay, someday you're going to look back on this and you're going to consider it the greatest gift of your life. I likely would have not received that very well, right? And
because you guys took sixth, and
we came DFL in that final. That's right, we were sixth.
Yeah, and the Canadian press went crazy bad on it, right?
They were not. Again, another comment on Western culture. They laid blame in their articles, the photographs, the headlines, all of it, and. Sometimes I wonder if those guys ever consider if the athletes are actually going to read the paper, right? If they're going to see it, because, it's one of those things, right? If you wouldn't say it in front of the person, then don't say it. And so, I think when I got home after those Olympics and saw that front page and read that article, it was, it was a moment, right? And all these years later, I do look back on that Olympic final. And more specifically, the outcome as being the greatest gift of my life, because it challenged my narrative, right? That life was about chasing, that your self-worth was built around the things you did and accomplished, and that your happiness and fulfillment would be, for the rest of your life, would be formed by the things you did and who you became. And at 25 years of age, I got a life lesson, right? I got a real, I got sent to the corner and the whole bit, right? It was sort of, wow, figure this out. And it was a ride, right? I'm not going to lie. It wasn't sort of an hour of pondering. It was over a decade of some serious bumps. And, but on the other side of that, was the realization that I had bought into a lie, and hook, line, and sinker, right? And as I say, I look back on the race and just I'm so grateful for it, because the way I look at it now, if we had won that race, if we had done what we were supposed to, it would have reaffirmed for me that chasing was right, and that my approach to competition was right. That this egoic approach to life was the right way, because it worked.
Yeah, it got it that far. I mean, it got you that far.
Yeah, and that's a really great point, Linda. And we often say that in our workshops or working with our clients, that I would never lie that the ego can't get you places, right? Because it got me to an Olympic final. But what I would argue is that in the moment I needed my best self, my ego got in the way, right? Because sitting on the starting gate in that Olympic final, my ego believed that if I don't win this race, right, everything's been for naught, right? It's been a waste of time, and so you better pull this off. And so as we know now, that sort of pressure undermines performance, right? It releases hormones into your body that prevent performance, that don't support it. And so in a moment where I needed to be joyful and light and playful and open to what was going to happen, I was tight and afraid and angry and just spinning. I look at it now and I just sort of think, wow, no wonder. Losing in that final now makes sense to me, as much as it was hard to accept in the moment.